What is going on? You are watching and listening, of course, to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition. This is episode 352, and I'm your host, Steve V, alongside, Kodi Maurice Doggette.
Hello,
We've been
darling.
almost called you Jeremy there for a
I
second.
caught it. I was.
It's so funny because this is day 3 of kind of doing something related to Tags podcast, and all of them are different versions, and it's just they're kind of blending into it. Friday, I've got an interview with tune in next Tuesday, y'all. I'm interviewing a prominent urologist out in LA and asking
Yes.
all impertinent questions for our health about our prostate and all the good questions so we can remain healthy. All stemmed from a friend of mine that his husband or his fiance is dealing with prostate cancer right now. And I just thought it would be really good to get that. So stay tuned for that. That is next Tuesday. In other news, actually, this week, it's a busy week of podcasting
Love
because
it.
I was a guest on a podcast, Sweet Baby Gay podcast.
That's a great
Abby,
name.
it's the great name, right? Abby, as she goes by, was the host of it, and she asked me to be on the show. She's going to be on our show next week. She's
Ooh,
bisexual.
can't
Yeah.
wait.
She's a lot of fun. And I think we're going to have a great time with her. That's next week. But yeah, we talked. It's her show, Sweet Baby Gay, is all about telling our gay queer stories. And she was asking everything from the show to my coming out story, all fun
Wow,
stuff.
that's
And
awesome.
I divulged a lot, but it was great. I
That's
enjoyed it.
nice.
Yeah, that was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Can't wait to meet
Also,
her next week.
yeah. About last night, how much fun did we have on
So
our
much fun.
deeper Discord channel for our Patreon members at the subcategory and above? They all joined us last night for a really cool, deeper conversation that we had. It reminded me of the Clubhouse days, Kodi.
Sure did, yeah.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It was just great to connect with everyone, and it was great to just share our stories and our experiences, and I just got to ask all the questions that I want. I'm an inquisitive host, so
You
I
are.
I got to
We
ask
all
all these
spilled some
burning
tea. It was
questions, yes.
We also got to take a break and hear from our listeners, and that was a lot of fun.
And I got enchiladas last night, and
You
that
got
was amazing.
enchiladas. Yes, I cooked for you. We had a lot of fun here in the same studio.
Yep.
Um, you guys can join our next monthly deeper conversation by joining our Tags Sex Pause community over on our Patreon page. And if you join at the subcategory and above, you can join us for Tuesday, April 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesday, April 26th is the next one, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. Show your love and support for Tags Podcast. Well, you're going to get some extra special perks.
Nice.
Okay, we are live on this hump day on this Wednesday night. I see
Hope
some
so.
familiar faces. Hi, Blake, who joined us last night on our deeper conversation. I see James. Hello, James. I feel like this is Romper Room, and that's an old school joke there. But and hello, Teddy. We love to see you and a bunch of other people. So
And
thanks for
daddy.
joining us.
Don't forget about daddy.
Hey, Daddy. I
Hey,
love it.
daddy.
Well, you may have been caught up in the hoopla of the Academy Awards. We're all talking about Will Smith, but there
Ooh.
was another shady moment that happened that was very subtle and kind of how I like to handle my shade too. When Lady Gaga told Caitlyn Jenner she's switching baristas in the shadiest shit that I've heard in quite some time.
Oh,
It all
yeah.
happened while attending the Oscar party for the Elton John AIDS Foundation in WeHo, West
Oh.
Hollywood. The Caitlyn approached Lady Gaga in this video, and she asked, it's so awkward, you guys, but you can hear it. You hear the paparazzi because everybody's a little bit afraid to, like, do we go up to Lady Gaga? Do we not?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, Caitlyn Jenner goes up to Lady Gaga and in the most awkward way says, "Around Malibu anymore?" Because as we all know, Caitlyn Jenner has a house in Malibu, and apparently Lady Gaga has
Malibu, baby.
one too. To which Gaga bluntly replies, "Yes," in a very demure way, right?
Yeah.
Um, Ca Caitlyn goes, "I haven't seen you in Starbucks in a while." Like, what? Really? And as Gaga's in this gorgeous gown, fully made up,
Exactly.
Caitlyn grapples for some common ground there, while Gaga simply replied, "Well, I changed baristas." And
Yes.
the look in her eyes as she said it was 100% shade, but in the way that you do that wasn't Will Smith.
In a Mariah Carey, I don't know her way.
It was Did you see the video?
I saw the video. It's stellar. I watched it like 3 times. It was so amazing. Uh, I switch baristas. It's gonna be my new saying from now on. So when I tell you that, girl, just get out of my way and don't speak to me anymore.
Teddy says Mariah mode is way better than Will mode. Oh
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. It was so. It reminds me too of we had a listener once that was all about our show. He was a friend of Lincoln's,
Mhm.
and I remember he ran into me at the New York Eagle here and outside of it, and said, "Oh my God, I'm such a fan of the show," and I was like, "Oh, awesome." And it seemed like a lovely exchange.
Uh-huh.
Cut to apparently I said an opinion that didn't go over well with him on a
Really?
later podcast,
Okay.
and he let me know it in DMs in a direct message on Instagram, and I
Okay.
was kind of like, okay, great, but it was a round robin of us hosts, and I was that was my opinion, and I still stand by my opinion. Can't
Yeah.
tell you what it was because I can't remember, but I do remember I stood by my opinion, and it was like it wasn't that serious either for him to be kind of launching at me in DMs.
Okay.
So you and I and Joe, your boyfriend,
Uh-huh.
were at Halloween's Alegria last October, and we were
Yes,
standing
we went.
outside. I left you guys because you guys were still partying away, and I was like, "Okay, child, I gotta go." I leave, and it was this crazy place in Brooklyn where there was Ubers and taxi cabs and
Yeah,
shuttles, and it
yeah,
was just this hot mess, and taco trucks and a hot dog stand
the
over
best.
here.
I
And
love
I
that
was so
place.
like, oh my God, all I want to do is just go home. And I ran into him, and he was still trying to I gave him the shadiest grin on my face, like, do
He
not
tried to
come up to
kiki with
me.
you?
He was just kind of like gonna say hi, walked by me, but
Oh,
the damage to me was already done. Gave him a look on my face like, "Do not come up to me. Do not come up to me."
you switched baristas?
I switched baristas. I switched taco trucks. Okay.
Yes. I
And
love it.
if you would have saw the look on my face, it would be like, "Do not talk to me. We're done. Like I'm done with you. Like we've said all we can. You don't listen
That's
to the show
it.
anymore. I don't. It's fine. You know,
What
have you ever given a I don't go to that barista? I
all
switch
the
barista.
time.
Well, you're in a restaurant situation at times, so maybe you do have those moments.
Oh, all the time. And I think that one time, so I was working at the restaurant and this woman, she came in and she jumped the line to go to the restroom and she wasn't even a patron, right? And so
Uh-uh.
I told her she can never come back, switch baristas, and we're done. So, yeah.
Yeah. Again, we are live. It's Wednesday night. And hey, Billy, who joined us last night as well. Good to see you. Love to see familiar faces. Okay, moving on to this next story, which I think you might like, Cody. Many of you
Mhm.
might like, because, Cody, I know you love public nudity.
It's my favorite thing.
Recently, though, residents warned after a nude cyclist was spotted riding around this local beauty spot in a state of arousal, meaning he was hard. And
Okay.
people in Tameside, Tameside, still don't know where that is, and I can't believe we didn't look it up, Cody. But if you can, um, have been asked to be wary about a nude cyclist who was spotted this week around a local spot with an erect dick. The cyclist was
Oh,
spotted
my.
Tuesday at Ho- okay Holmes Wood in Denton by a resident walking nearby. They took to social media to warn residents about the man. And in a post on Facebook, the person said, "I've just been walking down Hume Woods." I'm probably butchering that. I feel bad. There's a guy riding down there. It's just Hulme. Hume? Whom? Whom
Who
Woods. Whom
I think I
Woods.
think Woods is perfectly
Let's
fine,
make it
darling.
British if we can. They wrote on Facebook, "There's a guy riding down there naked with an erect member. It's been reported by the police. If you see him, please report it." They added, "There's a lot of lone women who walk here daily, as I do. Please be careful. He has long, dark hair." Responding to the post, one person said, "Honestly scares me walking down the woods, and even more so seeing this." And another wrote, "He ruined my happy place."
Oh my
Would you be,
goodness.
I
Really,
know, I think
girl?
a little bit of overreaction, I think, by some of these people. But all I could think of is, would you ride a bike naked? I mean,
That is the only question.
the jewels. No way would I risk, and hard too. Like you're really
I
gonna ride, and the
hello.
rocks and everything. Maybe I'm just a little sensitive right now because of my ankle, and I'm like, oh no, no, don't go that way, don't go this way. That, but no, would I not have a hard on walking, riding a bike?
You know what it was? He had a dildo on the bicycle. Okay, you should see my notes, and they are exactly what you just said. How did he maintain that erection while he was riding the bicycle unless he had a dildo up his butt? And why would you even ride a bicycle naked? It just seems very impractical to me. Sounds like you're going to get chafed up down there and you're going to have problems when you get home. So,
Yeah, the closest, and the fact that I'm saying the closest I've come to this story is pretty interesting. The closest I've come to this is at the Cock here in New York City.
oh,
Several years ago,
what is that?
I was hanging out with my one of our friends, Gregory,
Oh, okay. I know.
and
Yes.
one of the bartenders was really sexy and hot. I had a crush on him, and he rode a motorcycle. So he let us stay till they closed the bar down, and he locked up,
You
and we
did.
walked with him to his bike. For whatever reason, on the Lower East Side of New York, I
Okay.
thought on a summer night, I thought it would be fun to strip off all my clothes and get on the back of it and have my friend video the whole experience and take pictures of it. So I have this picture, maybe I'll share it with a Patreon community, of me on the
Ooh.
backside naked, clusping onto this guy as he rides around the Lower East Side. And it was so dark on the streets, on the side streets, that nobody even noticed. But I wasn't riding it. I was like cushioned up with the bike on the back seat. I wasn't riding the bike, still dangerous. But I mean, I
Yeah.
took everything off.
You were
Everything.
bare bottom on a motorcycle
Buck naked
in the Lower East Side.
on the Lower East Side on a summer night.
Hey,
I was feeling it.
it
I
sounds
was
like
feeling my
you out here ruining happy places too. No, I'm just you're not ruining happy places. That sounds fucking fantastic, and I would have paid to see that. So, sounds like an album cover to me, actually.
It's so album cover like,
Yeah.
and the best part about it, I would be the artist, because he had his helmet on so you couldn't see his face. So of course, we wouldn't want to
Oh,
take away from the artist and my
yes.
album of 10 tracks that I'm
I'm writing
releasing,
notes right now. Okay.
called the comfort maybe called the Comfort Zone Part 2.
Love it. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the closest I came to it. I don't know what possessed me. It was just a little nuts, but okay. Moving on. This is kind of a shocker,
Okay.
y'all. Bellamy. We all know Bellamy, the porn company out of Eastern Europe, is it? Perhaps. Well, they released their first condom scene in 6 years. Condoms, you ask, in gay porn?
Oh, wow.
Somebody wrote, what is this, the 90s? So today on Bellamy, Dream Hunk, according to the story, Enrique Vera is topping power bottom Marcel Gassion. And as you can
Okay.
see from the pics, Enrique is indeed wearing a condom on his cock for this fuck fest. Well,
Ooh.
they asked the question, how in the world did rubbers make their way back into Bellamy's scene when they've been releasing all bareback content content for the last several years, or for over a
Mhm.
decade now.
Oh,
As
yeah, they were
Bellamy
one of the first ones.
So here's the explanation. Bellamy explained the director of this scene, who's also a gay porn star, Adam Archuleta, forgot to
Okay,
get the models tested for STDs, or STIs as we like to say, prior
okay.
to shooting. Adam Archuleta is our director here today, and part of the director's job is to ensure that all the models have current STD tests when they turn up on set. Sadly, this time Adam forgot to do this, and rather then rescheduled the shoot, he filmed it with condoms instead. Our
Okay.
most Then they kind of threw him under the bus on this next part, because they say our more experienced directors would
That's shade.
I
They
mean,
changed baristas on his ass. That's
first of all, they released it. So why are you throwing him under the bus now? Because you got some flack for it. But anyways, our more experienced directors would have postponed the scene, but at
Mhm.
least we are grateful. So they're grateful, and then they're throw him under the bus, that Adam was quick enough to find a workable solution here. So we end up with the only scene with condoms in many, many years.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I
Alright, I guess.
guess it's a throwback scene. You might be
Yeah.
watching it and going, wow, the quality for this 90s video is really good. Is it my internet?
I
I
was gonna
mean,
say they could throw a filter on it and make it like a VHS type deal going,
that
and make it a throwback.
they should
There's
have
so
done
many things they could have done.
yeah, instead of throwing this director under the bus, who clearly dropped the ball. And I don't know at what point did he not think to tell, oh my gosh, I didn't dot my i's and cross my t's, guys, what do you want me to do? Should I shoot the scene with condoms, or should we reschedule?
Mhm.
I mean, unless they rented like this, I'm trying to look at the scene. Does it look like it was in a really expensive place or something, or was it like, it looks like it's honestly, I'm looking at it right now and it's like in somebody's bedroom that
I'll be watching the scene more in depth later, so I'll post it in the Discord.
but I guess my question to you is, would you watch this scene, Cody, or
S
not?
so, while
He's laughing, listeners, audience, for our audio podcast, because I'm sipping my straw and waiting for the
Yes,
response.
yes, and very shadily, but it's okay, I'm here for it. So I don't okay, so in real life, I
As opposed
would
to, yeah, right.
as opposed to porn, which is not real life. um, I am not opposed to condoms. Condoms, it's whatever. I have a boyfriend now. I don't really use them anymore. But in my porn, whenever I see a porn movie with
Condom.
condoms, I always scroll right past it for some reason. Uh, may it's just a personal preference.
Stop
Porn is fantasy.
apologizing.
It's not apologizing. I'm just kind of explaining myself. Uh, I'm not
I feel like you're walking it back,
because I feel like
and
I
and
dug
and the
myself a
microphone's
hole.
like, Cody, did
So
Cody
far
go
away.
into the other
Other
room?
way. So, what do we have
Right.
it? No, yeah, I'm not gonna apologize for it. It's just a personal preference, and I like it. Actually, I have a story. So one time, it was way back. It might have even been a Bella Me shoot, a porn that they made back in I want to say 2002. I opened up my phone and there was of course porn on there because I'm a gay man, and somebody that I was with, I think was a young lady, and she saw it and she saw they didn't have any condoms on, and she was like aghast by it. And I had to explain to her why they didn't have any condoms on and what was going on with that. So yeah, just people's personal preference.
Bellamy was one of my first porns that I ever watched. Not first, but a little bit down the road earlier on. I think
Okay.
even VHS, if we're talking that far back. And I mean, I think they definitely had condoms back then, but it was sort of the nature of the time, like moving in with
Yeah.
the times. I think it's sort of silly that they threw this Archuleta porn star guy under the bus in their statement back. And I think they would have been a little bit more creative if they would have done what you said and yes, you'll notice that scene has, but we decided to put a 90s filter on it and do, you know, if they did something kind of creative or shoot some other scenes that led up to the sex scenes
Oh my
that
god,
were
that would have been great.
totally of 90s looking and old school, and created a fun storyline so that it wouldn't be wasted. Because you're right, in the end of the day, I would bet 9 times out of 10 most people are going to skip it. They're just,
Yeah.
because it's going to be, we're just conditioned, many of us, in watching our porn, that we aren't going to like it, and it's going to throw people off, I think. And it would have been better if the guy just would have done his due diligence and not fucked up in the first place. What are the people saying though?
The people are saying, Blake, before you even said that you would have postponed the shoot, Blake said he would have postponed the shoot.
Okay.
So, and then Teddy says the porn locations here are so expensive. 1 month of rent per day of shooting, usually. Wow,
In
that's a
Prague?
that's the thing. In Prague, I don't know if it's the same. It's probably, I'm not going to make any guesses because I have no idea.
We're not in the industry, so
Exactly. Not yet.
yeah.
Billy says a month rent for 1 day. That's crazy. I scroll past porn with condoms too. LOL. So okay, he's on my team. I don't feel so bad. Put myself out there like that.
I'm on the same team too. I would
Okay,
probably
all
I would
right.
scroll past
3
it.
votes. And then Blake says ditto as well. So that's 4 votes. And Blake also says, especially if you're on their site and everything else is bareback. So
Here's the other thing, because nowadays we're kind of thinking that, I mean, maybe it's part of a whole film of scenes, and I
mhm.
guess I'm making this up, but maybe there you can buy the whole film. But nowadays, I'm sure if you go to Bellamy.com, you can buy scenes
Yep,
here and there. Well,
totally.
I feel like that scene's not going to be, have a low
It's
purchase.
popular.
Yeah, it's not going to do that well, right?
I
With their
don't think
feeble
so.
response back that they threw that guy under the bus. I mean, I just think it was dumb. Like, everybody was a little bit dumb and didn't think a little bit more on their feet. But it makes for fun conversation, and
Oh,
that's,
for sure.
yeah,
We're reporting on it now, so
yeah.
hello.
Exactly. Well, here's another person we love to report on, I think. Colton Underwood, back in the news. You guys,
All
we
right.
were going to talk about him again. It seems like you're probably annoyed that we talk about him a lot. We were going to talk about him last week, and we dropped it because we thought he was talking about getting a second season of his next Netflix reality show. But when
Okay.
we closely read the story, he had said that, no, I'm not going to pursue that because I want to work on my relationship with my fiance, and that's what he said then.
Huh?
However, this week it's like a new story every week with him. So this week, though,
I
Colton
wonder
Underwood
why.
right, he continues to plan on monetizing the gay life experience by shopping the rights to film his wedding around TV executives. The
Uh-huh.
problem, nobody wants it. So Colton has been pitching a TV wedding for a long time, and he was sure that being the first gay bachelor to get married would start a bidding war between networks and streaming services. But so far, no one has said yes. A witty source told Radar, "We're not sure how long time is considering we're not sure how a long time is considering the TV wannabe has only been engaged for a month, so it's not certain how long he's been really shopping." His agent, though, set up a meeting with almost every development and programming executive in town. What was interesting is that Colton attended most of those meetings without his fiancee. And to say he was optimistic is understatement. He was 100% positive this was a done deal. This is according to sources, you guys, but
Uh-huh. Yeah.
pretty optimistic for a guy who faced severe backlash for his coming out documentary. People are saying, um, I don't know. It's Do you think it's funny that he tried to shop this around and that no one's really interested in it? I mean,
Um,
he should have been shopping season 2 of his Netflix show then and
okay.
incorporated the wedding in that.
That would have been a smarter idea. I think because nobody wants to buy the wedding, I think they're going to get divorced before they even get married.
Uh-oh, yeah.
What really kind of caught my eye was that he's been pitching this for a long time, quote unquote. I don't know how long that's been, and they've only been engaged for a month. That's crazy to me. And he goes to the meetings without the husband. That says to me that the
Well, that
wedding
part doesn't bother me
no,
so
ma'am. If
much.
that
I
happened
don't think.
if Joe went to meetings about our wedding, televising our wedding on without me, that would make me very upset, and
But if
I don't
you're
even know
the
if there
but
would be a
he,
wedding.
but out of the two of them, Colton is the reality star, the star. The other one isn't. If you're in a pitch meeting, I don't think you need to have the cast members all in the pitch meeting with you. So to me, that didn't bother me at all. Um, I don't
But
think that
they're
that's.
both the stars of a wedding show
Well,
about their
maybe.
wedding?
Well, I bet he was using his name and his clout and his 15 minutes of fame to try and get as many meetings as he could, and then if he got a bite, then he would then bring in the fiance, and
Oh,
then
no.
you know what I'm saying. But
It's more
I still don't
it's
think
suspect
anybody's
to
that
me.
interested in it.
I mean,
Unlike, he
I'm
must
not
be a little
watching.
bit jealous though, because you guys know the actor Jonathan. I was going to say Jonathan Bennett, but you corrected me earlier, and it's Jonathan Bennett.
I think you should still call him Jonathan Bennett. I think he would love it. He's the
Jo-
sweetest thing.
He's from Mean Girls, you guys. He's also
Yes.
hosting a lot these days, like Food Network stuff. And his husband that he just married, James Vaughn, who's also a host. I actually met James on the Vakaya cruise line, the inaugural Vakaya cruise line, and he was kind of the Julie Cruise director of them.
Oh,
Well, yeah, he was a good cruise director, I have to say.
I was more owing because of the Love Boat reference.
Oh, yes, exactly. Well, People Magazine picked up their wedding photos when they just recently tied the knot at the Unico Rivera Maya Hotel in Mexico.
Love it.
Very exciting. And the pictures are really good. And that's, I mean, not going to sit well. But Jonathan Bennett, or Bennett, sorry, is
I love how you
is
French it up.
is an actor, and I
Yes.
think has a lot more standing. The other one, he's also marrying to a prominent host, does a lot of
Mhm.
hosting stuff too. So
Yep.
I think there's some interest in that.
Oh, for
But
sure.
yeah.
I love this couple. They actually seem really nice and genuine and not contrived at all, as opposed to those who shall not be named. I'm so happy. I looked at the pictures and I loved every moment of it. I cried a little bit. I was so ecstatic because, and I thought I lost all feeling in my heart a long time ago.
So did
So
I.
I
But
know. But clearly I have a little bit because I cried at this wedding. And Jonathan Bennett is just so adorable to me, and he seems like such a sweet guy. So I'm so happy for them. Congratulations, guys,
So yay to Jonathan Bennett. No,
and nay to
nay
Colton.
to Colton. Got it.
Yes.
All right, we're keeping track here.
Oh, and I
Um,
wonder if Tamar Braxton,
Oh,
because
here
they
we
were all.
go again. You got to bring her up every day. He loves a Braxton. Why you got to bring the Braxtons up every
I
day?
love Tamar Braxton. Okay, so Tamar Braxton and Jonathan Bennett were on Big Brother together, and I watched that season recently. So I wonder if she went to the
Okay.
wedding. I didn't see any pictures of her, so I
Because
want
we
to
all
know.
love Big Brother. Got it. Okay. Is anybody saying anything before we move on?
So Teddy says he saw Colton with Andy Cohen and he felt like he was such a sweet guy. And I don't even want to read the rest of the
Oh.
statement. And he's starting to become
Oh.
a supporter. He said, "Send help, Kodi." And I said, "No, don't go over to the dark side." Blake says, Gus Kenworthy actually said Colton is going at lightning speed and he's had food poisoning that lasted longer than his relationship. Boom.
Gus
Go ahead.
said that?
Gus
Was
said
it
that.
Gus
It's
was
not
a
just me. Gus is he's the Olympian that hosted the show that he was on.
Yeah, and he's saying that, throwing
Yeah.
Colton under the bus. Wow. Well, I mean, it's obvious. And here, I mean, then you're shopping, trying to get a wedding show off the ground. Like I said, if anything, he should have just tried to shop season 2 and incorporated the wedding within that. But maybe it didn't do so well on Netflix, and there's not even, room for that. So maybe the 15 minutes is up. I don't know.
We'll see.
We love to give advice on this show, sex and relationship advice solicited, and we love it when you write into us. And this
Mhm.
week, we have some advice to give. Let me read it to you. Diddy wrote in and said, "Hi, I just started listening to your podcast and I find it very informative on the gay sex life. Thank you. I enjoy listening to your podcast when I go back and forth from work. I am 30, Asian, gay
Okay.
man who is unable to bottom forever." Okay. I started
Okay.
having sex at the this part's interesting. I started having sex at the age of 9 years
Mhm.
old,
Yeah.
and I have always been a bottom verse. I do enjoy bottoming, but at this age, I am not able to bottom again. I stopped bottoming in 2013 when I had a surgery due to hemorrhoids. The hemorrhoids was caused by an Italian man who I had sex with, and his dick was really big. But at that time, I did enjoy it so much.
Okay.
Since I discovered the role side, I do feel I am that role. I can top, but I still prefer being a bottom.
Okay.
I miss being a bottom and I don't know how I can fix this. I have tried having sex with the smallest dicks any sites in Vegas, but when the dick came close to my whole body froze and it was painful for the dick to enter me. I think I'm physically and mentally traumatized.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sexually active due to my issue and I find it hard to go on dates because I'm always attracted to tops. But when they ask for sex, I am not able to fulfill their desire of being a bottom. When I date bottoms, they think I'm too this is his word, sissy as a
Yep.
top. I am so lost in my dating life and at this age, which we reminded is 30, I'm
Okay.
just afraid I will be alone when I am old. Please help and thank you for listening. Okay, so kind of lots to unpack there.
Yes.
The one thing I was thinking of because and where I had some experience and where I wanted to give some sound advice is I may have mentioned it on this show, and you have a little bit of storyline with this too, Cody. Not
Mhm.
yourself personally, but I had what's called a fistula,
Yep.
which is also in that anal region. And I'll never forget, just to give you a quick, I noticed a little red bump that looked more like a blemish, if you
Mhm.
will. And I just went to my primary care doctor and he looked at it and he was in the office just trying to, oh, it's just not a hemorrhoid, but he thought he could just put like
Lancet.
de-drain it and lance it
Okay.
there, and it wasn't happening as quickly as he thought. And so he sent me to a different professional that was a
Mhm.
little more experienced, who told me that it was a fistula, which is often deeper down and it's kind of like a clogged pore, if you guys will.
Mhm.
Like if you imagine like something that's clogged in your face, but
Yeah.
it's in the butt region. And
Yep.
the only way to get rid of that, in other words, it's not just going to go away by itself, is to have it surgically removed, which I
Yes.
did.
Mhm.
And 9 times out of 10, almost like a 20-30 minute procedure where you're under, but they just go in there and they just close it and drain it, and then you're good to go. Sometimes, as I was told, it can be they don't know how deep the fistula is going. It's like a
Mhm.
canal, if you will, and the
Yep.
canal can go deeper and can sometimes wrap around that muscle, which is
Yep.
not always the best. Like I said, mine wasn't that bad. And the thing of it all, and why I bring it up and why I'm relating to this person here, is it was surgery in that area. And as you can imagine, there was an open wound that was closed that, was in right by my anal region there.
Yeah.
And couldn't, you had to treat it for several weeks before I was even allowed to have any kind of sex.
Mhm.
The thing I did do, and here's where my recommendation would come is to not talk to your primary care doctor and the experts if you can, because they can look at it and see how the healing is going. So mine healed well, and I slowly made my way back and have been able to have a healthy bottom sexual life post that surgical
Okay.
procedure. And I was told that would be able to do that too.
Okay.
Um, I also had the good doctor, the ass doctor that we've had on the show, Dr. Goldstein,
Mhm.
and he looked at it even later as just a friendly thing to do.
Mhm.
He looked at my ass and he
As
determined
friends
that,
do.
as friends do, as a doctor, and he determined that it was, that no, it's everything's healed down there and you're good. The thing about it is when you I know without knowing if how tight or what's going on down there for this listener, what I can say is, toys and small toys can be a way to
Oh,
relax and ease your way back into the process. I would seek a professional to look down there to say, am I able to go back to sex again anally? And
mhm.
then once I got that okay, 9 times out of 10, you just have to reintroduce with the smallest of toys and with plenty of lubrication, and really kind of treat yourself back to learning how to get that muscle to take it before you even go to a real dick.
Okay.
And that
All
can
right.
be exciting and fun, and you can do it in the comfort of your own home in safety, but I would first try and get that okay
You could
first
have
and
a partner
foremost.
do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great advice, Steve. And I love that it's coming from like a place of your expansive knowledge on what to like this
My
situation.
expansive ass region, yeah. Exactly.
So my advice is coming from a place of course I don't have any prior uh well, I'm kind of but not really indirectly um with as far as maybe he won't be able to bottom ever again. And I my advice is that there are so many other things that you can do other than anal sex. um, there's fraudage, there is mutual masturbation. Get those oral skills all the way up, become the throat goat, because not everybody always wants anal sex. And I think that maybe you should actually find other forms of pleasure out there. Teddy actually said something that really kind of sparked in me. Uh, he said that he loves feminine bottoms, blouses, as we call them here.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you said that, and I wanted you to speak on that too, because that was another part that wasn't prominent in what he was writing in about, but I want to address that part.
Yeah, totally. I think that maybe you're just not talking to the right type of bottoms out there if they think that you're too effeminate for them. Maybe you should expand where you're going or who you're talking to, and actually, because he said that he's comfortable with topping, so why not try and find somebody that's comfortable with having someone that's more effeminate top them,
I love
like
that
Teddy.
advice. Yeah, like Teddy, right. Yeah. I love that advice so much because that really, I took a beat when I read that the first time, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, here we are that we all suffer from this at times where we
yeah.
think we can't fit that role that we think everybody wants." And you're right. I mean, sometimes on the apps you're not going to find that perfect person, but there's plenty of people that love, as we're calling, a blouse. And
I'm a blouse, so I am not, and I found me a
you've
man.
talked
So
about that before, yeah. And a very pretty blouse at that, my
thank you,
dear.
darling. I'm the finest silk.
There are
So
plenty of people that
that's
love.
my area expertise, finding somebody that likes you a blouse. So just you just gotta expand your net. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, that I just wanted you to speak on that because I know that you've referenced the blouse situation before.
And I
And
get it in.
okay, yeah. I hope that helps though, because I
Me
think
too.
it's not doom and gloom, and there's always, oftentimes I'm glad you wrote in though, because asking for advice, I hope that sheds some light, because sometimes we do think that there's roadblocks
Mhm.
in front of us, and it's the end of this, or we've made up our minds. We need a new perspective and a new
Exactly.
outlook
Oh
on,
yeah.
because where there's a will, like you said, there's always a new way, a different way, that's really can be awesome. And I just love that. So
Yeah.
yeah. If
Love it.
you want some sex or relationship advice, you can always DM us on our Instagram at TAGSPodcast, or email us. And the best way to do that is to go to TAGSPodcast.com. We love giving solicited or non-solicited sex and relationship advice. Okay, moving on. There is a Reddit thread that caught my attention. I said, whoa, scratch the record. Hold on. It was a simple one, too.
Yeah.
The question was, would you suck a hookup's dick after a long day's work? So the guy wrote, this guy on Grindr just blocked me because I was uncomfortable sucking his dick after work. It is currently 10:30 p.m. I like how we're getting in real time
I know,
here.
right?
It's currently 10:30 p.m. here, and he admits to being at work since this morning and hasn't showered since. Would you have sucked his dick? Well, I think, what is this guy doing that he's been at work all day? I mean, if he was a worked for the trash company, no. I mean, is if it was like, or a construction.
Really?
Well, I mean, if he worked for you know what I'm saying? Probably
Okay.
not. Or if he was a
Okay. All right.
construction worker, unless it was
Uh,
lunchtime,
really? Really?
I wouldn't suck his dick.
No, I'm
No.
just saying, me personally. I don't know.
You know what's really interesting right now is I'm looking out my windows right now because right now they're working on the facade of our building.
Uh-huh.
So inevitably, so there's all these ropes on outside my windows, and
Mhm.
inevitably
You're gonna invite
every
somebody in?
every other day I do my work in close to these windows that
Oh.
face a major boulevard, and I'm like, oh, like taken off guard because they're hoisting themselves, the crew,
Oh.
down the sides of the windows, and it's so shocking when you see that happen, right? Because you're just not expecting guys, and they don't really look in, but I'm always like looking like, who are these guys and when's their lunch break? And but it's their lunch break. They haven't quite put in a full day's work. So
Okay.
the jewels might not be as funky at the
Okay.
lunchtime break. So I would do a lunchtime suck off. I just wouldn't do an end of day suck off.
So you have a time period to
I have a
where
time frame,
it
yeah.
expires, right? Not no
Yes.
expired penis for Steve, is what you're saying.
No. So I kind of don't mind, but I'm not, but I also don't understand this guy too, because he said that he blocked me. And it's like, well, what do you care? You didn't want to suck his dick anyway.
Oh, okay. Hello. That's
Because I think
right.
he got mad that he didn't want to shower. The guy refused to
Exactly.
shower. So what are your
That's
thoughts on this?
that's the thing. So I could be it just depends on my mood, basically. I am sometimes in the mood to suck a dick that has not been washed. I like it a little stank sometimes, and sometimes I like it clean. My question is, why didn't this man want to shower? That's absurd to me. Like, just hop in the shower for 5 minutes and then come on out. You can even make it sexy. You guys can shower together. That's
Do
also
you
an
think he was
option.
maybe insulted and
Why is that insulting? I don't think that that's insulting. I think that that's totally fine and totally completely normal
acceptable?
reaction. Yeah, like that's I don't think that that's weird at all. For it's a personal preference. We go back to personal preference. Some people like to suck stink dick, some people don't. A little sneaky, a little funky dick.
Yeah, I don't really like funky. And I remember years ago, one of my
I'm okay
early
with it sometimes.
boyfriends here in New York, and I was really into my boyfriend at the time. And I'll never forget, I was like, oh, it's kind of funky. And he was so offended that I said that.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, sorry, it's just I'm gagging. Like
We're
I'm
all human
gagging.
beings. We all get a little funky sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it didn't sit very well.
With
And
him? Oh,
no. And so I was like, well, I'm not going down there because
my
I was
boyfriend
gagging.
my boyfriend
Not in a good
is a
way.
clean freak, so
Okay.
he would never, but I'm down for it, like, right after the gym, oh my god, I'm ready to go right after the gym.
I like what a lot of people are saying. There's people into Musk. Most people seem like they're not into it, but you're right.
Mhm.
There are people that are totally into it. I mean, one of the bars I go to here in New York City, they like a little bit of funk
Oh,
in
yeah.
general, and that's just kind of a thing. Teddy also says, "I have a solution for you, Steve. Wet wipes." Yeah. Uh, um,
Okay.
yeah, and even our sponsor, Manscaped, promo code TAGS, TAGS, get 20% off. Hey. But they have ball wipes that yeah,
Oh,
on their website that are they've got all kinds of things that keep that they've got a few different ball emollients, if you will, or that are really awesome that I've used before. So, like, if places like New York in the summertime, Miami when it's just hot as fuck, and you're out and about all day, and you might meet a hookup. If you use some of these products like this, like Manscaped product, you are
mhm,
good to go. They have a
exactly.
spritzer.
The ball
Just
spray is amazing.
it's really amazing, and you just throw it in your bag, and you're good to go. We pack up for the day when we leave here in New York, and we don't come back
That's
until
true.
yeah. So
Most people in the comments are not okay with the musk. I think it's like a 4:1 ratio that we have going on. I don't wa James said he's into a little musk, and I don't know if we can read the next comment. Did you see it?
I would also sniff Steve's armpit.
I
Well,
love that.
thank
I saw it, I was like, "I
you.
have to say this right now."
Well, thank you. Okay, some of us are
Yes.
into it. I love it. It's an interesting conundrum, though, that we can find ourselves in. And yeah, okay. Are we getting to? Getting to thirst trap. Yes, as or did you want to
Oh,
behavioral
what
Jews and do?
about, um, comfort zone?
Yeah. So about the profiles, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So one thing yesterday that we had a lot of fun with is I decided that I wanted to get back on the apps because you say what you mean. You put what I was a broken record. You may have heard me and been annoyed by me because I always say I don't do well on the apps. And so I decided to change the narrative a bit here
Mhm,
and put myself on the apps. And I think I've been doing it all wrong. Well, Cody, before we had our Discord chat yesterday, came over a little bit earlier and
mhm.
helped me create a grinder profile, a new profile. In fact, I even had to download the app. That's how new we were at it. We came up with a great name, and you should coach people on this because I think I was going about it all wrong. I guess to tell you a little bit more is I want to find guys to maybe go on dates with.
Yes.
And I mean, if sex happens too, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I kind of want, and you give me hope, Cody, because you're in a
Thank
relationship and you
you.
met your partner on Grinder. So you said instead of me putting hung Latin male or hung bottom Latin, which is what I did in the past, you said, no, 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 no. Let's go back to the drawing board. And you said, what's like a song or something that is important to you, right? I think that's
Yeah,
what you said.
exactly, and something that would actually help you connect with people on there with like interests, basically.
Well, I couldn't help but think of the comfort zone, because if
Yes.
many of you may or may not know from the 90s, it was Vanessa Williams' second album, and I'm a huge Vanessa Williams fan. And I just love that comfort zone. Blake just said right now, comfort zone also implies bottom. Well, that's good. So
It's very sexy as well. That's why I was all
come
for
into my zone. Yeah.
it.
Wasn't it you, Blake, that said we should have spelled it
I
CUM,
know, that was
comfort
a little bit
zone?
too far.
But then we're back in the sex component, and I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get laid. And I don't know about those dates. I mean, maybe somebody would have gotten it and as a nod and a wink, but it does bring up the whole question on do's and don'ts, Cody. If you can
Okay.
give your top 5 list. No.
A list? You
Did
should
you
have seen the
prepare?
panic on
I'm
my
kidding. So
face.
now Cody's going to give us our top 5 list of do's and don'ts of what you should do on your next Grinder profile update.
Oh, man. Wow.
Take it away, Cody.
You scared me to death. I almost peed myself a little bit.
Well, let me ignite it. One quick question is, should I be spending daily amounts of time checking this every day and respond to everybody?
You should respond to whomever you wanna respond to, basically. It's not you shouldn't feel pressure to respond to somebody, and you shouldn't feel like you can't respond to somebody. if that makes
And can I throw in a little I switch baristas in there for a little good measure here and there when I'm
Only if
unhappy?
you wanna get blocked. Uh, I think you answer anybody whom you're interested in, and I think that another rule that I would say is don't put yourself make sure you have a conversation with the person. I've said this before several times on the show. Make sure you have a conversation with the person before, especially if you're looking to date, and then take it from there. And don't expect only to have hookups, or don't expect to just find dates or just have hookups. Feel them out first and then take it from and go with that energy, flow with that energy. It'll breed less um what's the word I'm looking for? Uh uh when you're disappointment, and it will have you so much more excited when you
Direct.
do go on there. Exactly.
When you say feel them up, just to be correct and direct here, you don't mean literally feel them up, right?
No, I mean,
Okay, got it. I just want to make sure
see
because
see where they're coming from, see where their head is at beforehand, and then when it comes to the time to actually meet them, then you'll know what you're where you are and what you're dealing with.
well, one of the first persons that did respond to me was kind of cool. Got the comfort zone, like we didn't
Yeah,
even put that out there, and you and I were screaming a little bit because we
it
were like,
was
"Oh my
really cute.
god!" I'm like, "Did you?" I thought Kodi had responded because the person said they literally put, "Did you know?" Oh, great title! And did you know that the daughter has a band of her own, meaning Vanessa Williams' daughter.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, that's layered. And I was like, yes, I do. Lion Baby. And I was all about it. And we had a nice musical exchange. You also wrote in my profile, which Kodi wrote it for me beautifully, which said music aficionado, and then went on to say the rest of it. So music's always going to be a great common denominator, I think. And
Exactly.
this guy did. I forgot to respond back to him. His last question was, "Where are you in Chelsea?" So number two, because I thought he was cute. I don't know if I'm totally interested, but I loved how he was,
And it
putting it
doesn't
out
hurt
there.
to have conversations with people, basically.
Well, uh, Billy says, "I feel bad if I don't respond back, though." What do you
No.
say to that?
I say that that is all on you. People are get ghosted all the time on Grinder. It happens to me all the time. If you really want to respond back to them, then I say respond back that you're not interested, and that's perfectly acceptable.
So the barista thing,
Ex-
I
Say I'm going to Malibu. I've
just
switched barista.
Lady
Yeah,
Gaga it,
exactly.
and
You
give him
should not feel
something, give
bad.
something to this, throw him a bone.
You don't owe anyone anything, especially on Grinder or someone that you don't know.
Okay, thank you. That's great advice. Any other tidbit advice that we used to spend, and I'm maybe
Too much
convinced,
time.
which too much time, but that being said, like a broken record, you found your boyfriend. So
It's
if that's
true.
the key, then I'm gonna just be single, I think.
Another tip I would give is cast your net wide, because you never know who if you think somebody's too hot for you, then you'll never know if they will find you interesting. So, I say cast your net wide, hit up as many people as you find attractive or that you find interesting, and you never know what's gonna come back to you.
Now, is this right that I do this? I immediately go,
They
could
can
be like, oh my God, this person just responded to me or hit me up.
Mhm.
I immediately go to the sexual position to see where we stand on that. Is that wrong of me? And
No. If that's
because,
important to you, then
well,
make
sex
sure
is
you
important and
prioritize it.
compatibility
Exactly.
is important to me. And
So you should
so,
prioritize it. You should not feel bad about going directly there, because maybe if you're looking for friends, then maybe you shouldn't be looking at that first. But if you're looking to find a sexual partner or a date, then I say go for it. Go right to there and see if that you're sexually compatible.
okay, good. Great advice. Any other tidbits before we move
Thank
on to
you.
our thirst trap of the week?
I'm writing a book, so I can't give you all my secrets.
Okay, all right. That's good. We'll report back, and maybe I'll give people a little insight as to how I'm doing on it as we move on into the spring and summer. Okay, well, it's time for our
Nice.
favorite Thirst Trap Thursday when this comes out, and it's by Straight Up Gay Porn. I put it in the comment section for you guys to review. They ask the question every week. Out this week, it's 20 gay porn stars, and they ask the question, "Who took the best photo or video?" There's some
Mhm.
good ones as always,
Oh,
and
yes.
it's our
Let's see.
job because we are primarily an audio podcast to descriptively describe who got our thirst going.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, it was kind of interesting. And so we have to descriptively describe. You guys can play along though in the comment section too, and we'll report back. But I can start if you will, if you want me to,
Okay,
Cody.
go ahead.
And I did look a little early. Sometimes I don't look until we do this, which isn't
Yeah.
the best thing. But I looked this time, and comes by Austin Wilde
Oh, you,
because he's so sexy in this shot. I mean, he's in a shower, a really nice shower too.
Uh-huh,
Like it's concrete, but it got a nice tile finish on the other side of it. The water is coming right on him, but he's lit. Like there must have been an overhead light. He's got
uh-huh.
great facial hair, cropped nicely. His chest hair is perfectly cropped too, which leads down to a nice trail. Body on point. And then we get to what looks like they put a light on his dick because it's like, ah. It is. I
Heavenly.
mean, he looks great just from the waist up, and he's got like a really nice facial expression on it. But that dick is like popping you in the face.
Oh,
Beautiful
yeah.
hands, and he's soaped up, lathered up. So you know how the soap and the hair kind of lather up nicely, and you just want to rub all up on it, like,
Uh-huh.
oh. Well, that's what I want to do with Austin Wilde in this week's, and he gets my pick. In fact, I'm going to
Okay.
vote on him right now on the bottom.
Okay,
And while I do
good.
that, why don't you tell me who you pick?
So you stole my pick, so I'm gonna
Oh,
have
sorry. We don't usually
to We
agree
usually do not agree, but I've had a crush on Austin Wilde for so
since day
long,
one.
forever.
Oh, well, I will report he's I don't usually look at this. He's number 1 right now. So
Oh,
there
fabulous.
is a reason why we're probably agreeing on it.
Exactly, and it's
He's got 22.8 percentile of votes currently.
fab. See, and
Yeah.
it's for a reason because not everybody can pull off overhead light. So I he got extra points for that for me.
Leader of the pack.
So I'm gonna go with my second pick, and that
Okay.
is Sammy Fitness.
Yes,
He's
he was my
right
number 2
underneath it.
pick.
See, look, oh my god, we are on the same wavelength.
Total number 2 pick.
Yes, he is oiled up. He's lounging on the floor. He's
Dreamy.
completely naked. He's taking a selfie in the mirror, and on the mirror is
Comes
streams of cum.
Oh my, like he just got finished and he's
Like he
like
just
chilling.
got finished, and he is. I can't. I was debating whether or not to vote for him or Austin, and I was like, I can't vote for Sammy Fitness every single week. So,
I mean, you could.
I mean, I
Last
could.
last year you were voting on the same one, a different person every week. I felt like as well, and I can't. Who was that person? Do you remember?
Oh, it was Idolo. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
Idolo.
every week you were Idolo this, Idolo that. I want to eat it. I want to eat him. Yeah, you like Idolo.
But so yeah, Sammy Fitness gets my vote this week only because you stole mine.
Okay. Well, I don't mind it. And
And it's okay.
how's he doing in the poll? Just to report on how he's doing. Let's just Did you look the poll?
I didn't look at the poll. I didn't see
Okay, who
anything.
what are people saying?
People are saying I Dream of Anthony says Sammy Fitness. Oh my god.
He's number
And
3 right now, y'all.
is he really? See,
10.5%, number
we
3.
we might have good taste. I think we do.
Yeah.
And then he says Austin's dick is kapow, dang. And James
Kapow!
James says Valentine Armar.
Oh.
Um Kellen Hartman, who I didn't see. I have to go back and look at him now. He's gorgeous. Plus, I love that you can see the front and the back both. I sounds like something I would
Ooh.
like.
We like a good front view and a back view all in
That's right.
one. Yeah, double for your trouble.
Dream of Anthony also says he loves the cum shot from Sammy Fitness. And Blake says it looks like it's more than one load in the pic. Oh, Daddy says, Daddy234 says Elijah Zane because sexy is sexy. And Elijah Zane is very sexy.
Okay.
And well, Billy just said that Sammy Fitness is third in the poll. He was helping us out. Thank you, Boo.
Love it. Okay. Well, this has been so much fun. I can't believe we've just made it to the hour here. We're almost
I
going a little bit
know.
over. We got to wrap this up. They might be shutting us down on this platform. We want to thank you all for watching live. Thanks. It makes this side of it so much more fun. So we really
Yes.
appreciate you guys watching us live. You can always watch us every week, 9 p.m. Eastern time on this platform. Get vocal. I want to thank my co-host, Kodi Maurice Doggette. Follow him. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching or at Mr. Maurice. Follow us at TAGSPodcast. And thanks, guys. In the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Yes. Super fun.
Yes.